Thanks everyone for stopping by and welcome to today's webinar, the top 4 ways to get ROI from your ops team with MAPS coach, Nicole Zuber. I'll make this short and sweet. Please note this meeting is being recorded. I will share the link in the chat momentarily to the MAPS YouTube channel where the recording will be available within 24 hours. Currently, everyone is on mute. However, we do value group participation. So we ask that if you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the chat box. Following the meeting, if you have any questions about today's call or any other coaching programs, please feel free to email us at fasttrack, FASTTRACK @kw.com. That's all for me, Nicole. The floor is yours.
Thank you, good sir. Appreciate it. Well, happy Thursday, everyone. It is a treat to have you here. My name is Nicole Zuber. I am the Executive Operations Coach here at MAPS Coaching. And I have the privilege of coaching some of the biggest, most profitable businesses and operations in our industry. Today, we are going to talk about 4 ways to develop your administrative team to become a profit center. So I've heard it before. I've heard Gary say it firsthand. Gary Keller, you know, the man with the mustache, that book, it's like red in color, millionaire real estate agent guy. Just kidding here. It's Thursday, guys. Smile with me. So the operations team is the heartbeat of the company. The scaled experience starts and ends with our operations team. And that's y'all. You guys are the superheroes here. So when we're talking about delivering a profit center, becoming a profit center, we're going to dive into proven ways, by the way, that operationally you could apply to your current business right now so that we could start, I don't know, I like to call it having the ops team make it rain. We're part of the team. So you don't have to be a salesperson. We're going to talk about the licensing piece here in a little bit. Yeah, you don't have to be a salesperson or have like the role of being a buyer's agent or a listing agent or an ISA. And I'm not asking you to sit in a cubicle and, make cold calls all day and door knock. Not asking you that. There's ways that you are already doing it today. We're going to think about it a little bit differently so that you can start applying it and turning that expense, that salaried expense of what fixed cost is, we call it, into an investment, a return on investment with systems that you're already probably using. So let's go to the first slide. So one way that you can do is taking full responsibility of the team's database. The brick and mortar of any real estate business starts with the relationships that we already have and making sure that data is accurate. So ways that you could own the database. Let's go into the laws first. So you need to build the database. So we always want to have at least 4 pieces of contact information. So your name, the client's name or prospective client, name, address, telephone number, and email address. And when we have that is you start hearing the term data bank. It really starts turning into a data bank when you have those foundational pieces, and then you can start adding on it birthdays, anniversaries, and we can go into that later. So you want to build it. Then you want to feed it every day. So when we're feeding it every day, and we then start communicating with it consistently and systematically. I don't know about you, but it's July 21st. Things are happening in our market. The last thing you probably want to do is think about, what touch do we need to do for our database, our past clients? You want a lot of that already systematized and built out and scaled so that when things are busy, you're not having to slow down and think about, what do I do next? Now, I've served every role in the operation. I had a real estate business for 16 plus years, so I could poke fun at all the roles because I've been them. How's that sound? So with that being said, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person on the screen who has had a rainmaker fly in and is like, okay, Nicole, we need to do a client event and we need to do it this weekend and it needs to happen. And we need to make sure that this, and this happens. Well, it happens more than not. So when you have a system that is already designed to communicate with that, including your events, you can scale it and be far more intentional and turn that into a data bank. So then the 4th law is we service every lead that comes our way. So there's so the path is in the math. I'm not sure if you've ever heard that term. So you increase the database by a minimum of 3 new contacts per day, new people, or 60 a month, with all of those entries, the name, address, telephone number, and email address. Then you structure and organize it by the agents, the team, vendors, we call those sources, right? And then the percentage that comes from the database, well, in the MREA, it's 2 to 12. I like to say that when you have this structure and there are at least 4 pieces of contact information with a very well thought out, intentional, methodical plan to touch them, you should be able to yield a minimum, at least a minimum of a 10% return on investment. So if you have, I'm going to talk about METs really quick. So the people who know us, like us, trust us. If you have 1,000 people that are METs, and again, that could be past clients, team members, vendors. If they know us, they like us, they trust us, we should be able to get about 100 deals from that when we have this really, really dialed in. So that's the first thing. Let's go to the next slide, if we may. So the other is reviews. Now, just for, if we could use the chat box, how many of you in this room have a review system where you already have it dialed in, and when we either pass off from the listing side to the transaction to close side, or we close out the file, we already have a system that causes those reviews to come in? Okay, lots of yeses, lots of getting started. Great job. Great job. So let's talk about why this is important. And Rita, hopefully, you said trying. Thank you for being transparent. Hopefully this can give you some perspective. So reviews, they measure, it's one of the metrics that measures an overall client experience, right? Obviously, we're looking for 5-star, let's be real. Why is that important? When you, like, I'm going to use Google, for example. So when you have your Google business page, and then you have 5-star reviews that keep coming in from there, that generates organic traffic. Organic traffic are things that we're not paying for, like SEO, and I'm not going to go into the weeds there. But organic leads that don't cost money. And I mean, think about it. If anyone has ever traveled, I don't know, I live in Austin. If I go to Florida or Orlando, take my kids to Disney World, and I go to Yelp, I want to find an Italian restaurant, I'm going to Yelp, I'm looking at those reviews, or Google. Our world has turned into total transparency that way. It is so important and so vital that every business, every real estate business that you are part of and helping protect, have that. So the other pieces is reviews do the heavy lifting. So the client already knows what to expect. So whether you're a referral that came in, I know for me, when I get referred contractors or whatnot, I always go on their website and I want to see what that experience was like from the client's perspective. So this is why reviews are important. And they are a byproduct of an extraordinary system that's being implemented. So those of you that said yes, you do. Number one, kudos to you. Those of you that haven't responded, or you're trying, or we're not yet, like, let's go do some research about this, because this is another way that we could get a return on investment for your real estate business. And so the ones that said yes, how can we improve? What do we need to do to improve to get more? So food for thought there. All right, let's go on to the next slide. So the customer experience when it comes to the 5-star communication, you need to start getting your team to think, act, and care like you do. We want to ensure that the client is being delivered an extraordinary experience, transaction over transaction. I mean, we're dealing with one of the biggest assets statistically that they will purchase, let alone, like, not even on a monetary perspective. Like, just think of the emotions. This is where people raise their kids. This is where people raise their grandkids, get married. Like, all of these things happen within their homes. And so there's a lot of stress that does come with moving. I moved last year. Oh my gosh. It was like I don't even remember. It was a blur. And I can tell you on the other end of it, I had an extraordinary team that was always ahead of me. And of course, left a 5-star experience. So, and that team that was ahead of me was you guys, the operations. So how do you do that? Well, here's a little plan of a way, even after a client for life experience. So once we close a transaction, we want to make sure that we have what we call at least a minimum of a 36 touch and play that's already built out. I want to challenge you. 2023 is around the corner. I know that sounds weird for me to say, but in October, we need to already have what we're going to be doing and the touches we're going to make with our Mets and the people who know us, like us, trust us, our past clients. We need to know how frequently a newsletter is going out, if we're sending any postcards, what our client events are. We recommend best practice a minimum, at least a quarterly client event. And here's an example. So there's shred parties, there's pictures with Santa, Easter egg hunts, wine tasting, recognizing their birthdays, etc. So, and then obviously we are in the business of real estate. So why the heck do we not have offering a complementary market analysis? So that is just that's a little example that also ties into a great review experience. So let's move on to the next slide. All right, so the third way we're talking about, for those of you that just joined, how the operations team becomes a profit center. How do we get a return on investment from our ops team doing what we already do? Referrals. So much like reviews, referrals are also the easiest source of business to generate with minimal cost. Now, for those of you, I want you to think about this. I don't care what role you are in the operation. When we get a client under contract, let's say we get one of our buyers under contract. And by the way, buyers, they're not having to fight as hard as they have been over the last 2 years. Anyone else noticing that these days? Say yes. Yeah. So we get a buyer under contract. We onboard them, and we have what is called an expectations call. We introduce ourselves. We let them know who we are. We're taking them from contract to the time the property closes. These are my business hours. This is how frequently I'm going to communicate with you. This is what you can expect moving forward. One of the things that we teach in our Perfect Operations Team course that launches in August is how to always be ahead of the client, delivering an extraordinary experience, transaction over transaction. So we're onboarding, right? And we're also, so we also know that we have either a pie event coming up or whatever the next quarterly event is, a shred party, whatever. And, Graham, before I let you go, who else do you know that's thinking of buying or selling? We could also invite to the shred party, or get a pie to, or give a movie ticket to. Y'all are already doing this, right? So you're already onboarding the file. It's just one sentence after that, after the file's onboarded, that you're asking, who else do you know that's thinking of buying or selling? We could also either invite to or, help with their real estate needs. Think about that. So if you have, you close 24 transactions, 50 transactions, 100, 500, doesn't matter. And you do that 90% of the time. Well, let's use easy math. Let's say we're closing 100 deals a year. We're servicing 100 families in a year. And we're asking that 90% of the time, which we should be. What are the odds? That's 90 times that you're going to ask. What are the odds that you might get a name and a phone number to pass over to the team? Probably great. I see you guys shaking your heads, right? So food for thought there. Yes, Rita said yes. So referrals are also the metric. It's a way that you in the operation, whether you're winning or losing in the client experience. And who the heck signed up to lose? Let me just tell you. So not me, and I know not anyone here on the screen. So when we know that you have, let's just say you've generated at least 5 referrals in the year, and your average commission is $10,000 for the team, that's $50,000 of revenue that you brought into the business by just doing what you already did. Chances are that's more doing what you already did by onboarding the file, right? And asking for the referral. So when we track that and we put it appropriately into a 411, we know we then could have those weekly conversations on how many times we asked and what the upcoming event is, etc. So referrals generated by the operations team, they drive profit for business. So I want you to think about that. So in this theory, we've onboarded 100 files in a year. And let's say that our system is designed to ask in the front and the back. And so in theory, we've asked what, 200 times in this theory, right? We're not going on 90%. Let's just say we're doing 100%. That's 200 times. You think you might accidentally fall in, might get a name of somebody that's looking to buy or sell? So let's say yes. Now in the chat box, if you're already doing that, how much did that cost the business? If you're already onboarding the file and you're asking in the front and the back, how much, and you get a name and a referral, how much did that cost the business? Ding, ding, ding. Michael wins. Okay, Natalie, you win too. $0, you guys. We're talking return on investment, very minimal cost. Your client heart is there. You care about servicing the client at a high level. And then we're also offering them pie or shred party, or just simply asking, who else do you know thinking of buying or selling? Doesn't cost much. That's shift proof right there. I'll tell you that much. So there are 3 to 5 trigger points, as we call it, in a transaction where it is appropriate to ask for a referral. And I always like to say in the front and the back, and then at a high point in the middle. So whether it's a home inspection negotiation or an appraisal that comes in. So you could really build out your system to where you are asking. And when you already have your events planned for the year, just go by the quarter. The movie theater doesn't need to be booked. We just know in the third quarter of the upcoming year, we're going to have a movie event. Doesn't need to be booked. You could just start telling them about it, because we already know that we're moving towards that. But hey Graham, before I let you go, in the next couple of months, we're going to be sending out a save the date for our upcoming movie event. Want to make sure you have you have the save the date for that. And who else do you know thinking of buying or selling? We could also get a movie ticket too. So you guys kind of tracking the gist of this. So then the last thing as far as generating referrals, and like I said, I'm not sitting here asking you to sit in a cubicle and make calls all day. No. Or go out door knocking. We have files to process and experiences to deliver for the clients. So the third way is why don't you add your personal database, the people who know you, like you, trust you, into your team's 36 touch plan, and let that system do the heavy lifting for you, because that's what that system's designed to do. The 36 touch, so I have some clients that have 72 touch, whatever. Those systems are designed to do a lot of the heavy lifting, to remind our past clients and the people who know us, like us, trust us, that we are the economists of choice. We're here to help. We're here to serve. And oh, by the way, we're in the community and we have a lot of fun doing what we do. So for the fourth, guys, ready for the fourth way to deliver a return on investment? Let's go to the next slide, Ice. Getting licensed. Now, so in the chat box, how many of you are licensed? If you're licensed, can you just put me or here or thumbs up? Okay, there's a couple of you. Now, I don't want this to be scary or daunting, guys. We have this thing at Keller Williams called K-Score, and it's varies state to state, and it's Keller Williams Successful Career Opportunities in Real Estate. It varies state to state. The link to look at that is down here. And it is entirely free to KW associates or to students through, again, the state approved pre-licensing education. So if your state has it and you are in an administrative role, an operations role, there is a huge opportunity right here for you to get your real estate license. Now, if your state doesn't have it, it's okay. We could still talk to that. Maybe it's one of your goals to do so. You're probably wondering, well, why? Well, first off, when you're a licensed assistant in any role and you're talking to the client, and you're not licensed, you are limited to things that you can say. When you're licensed, you don't have to worry about that because you're protected. And now, of course, yes, you don't want to say the wrong things or be intentionally saying the wrong things, but it keeps the company protected, keeps you protected. The second thing is it allows you to generate additional streams of income. So your mom, your brother, someone, they want to buy or sell. Why? And you're licensed. Well, now you can get a commission stream of income from that. And oh, by the way, from the other slide, we suggested put the people that already know you, like you, trust you in there, and let the system do the heavy lifting and generate income for you. And then lastly, for many of us operations-minded people, myself included, by getting licensed, it gives you a deeper understanding of our industry. It really does. It'll give you an understanding of what it is that our agents are up against, what they have to go through. The market is just adjusting. It's shifting. I'm not the only one on the screen that is hearing chatter about, oh my gosh, the house that, last month, the average day on market was like 2 hours. And now like houses are sitting for like, I don't know, 4, 7, some even like 2 weeks. Crazy, huh? I've been in the industry since 2003, so I could poke fun at this, you guys. Back in the day when I was in production, we used to run 90-day guaranteed programs to sell your house. We will guarantee to sell your house in 90 days. So there's a little perspective there. The market that's ahead, when we're going from a seller's market into a buyer's market, those are whole nother game, whole different set of systems. So you guys want to know how to better prepare for that? Let's go to the last slide. So now that you know how practical ways to get a return of investment on our operations team, Monica Reynolds and I have the privilege, we run the Perfect Operations Team course. Our next launch is August 4th. It is live, it's interactive, and you're welcome to join us. We would love to coach you through that. We spend 6 weeks in the transaction manager role, 6 weeks in the listing manager role, and 6 weeks in the director of operations role. We go through the systems and processes that you need, especially with this upcoming market that's coming. Your current systems on the listing side. I mean, there really wasn't a system, right? When you had to list a house and then you had multiple offers, and then there wasn't really a communication system when a house sits for 20, 30, 40, 60, 90 days. So we'll help you work through that. We go through the GPS, the 411, the KPA, all of the things that are needed to set you up for success in any of those roles in the operation. So by the end of it, so like I said, 6 weeks in each one of those roles, it's a great way to cross-train. So if you're currently a listing manager, you should be able to cover for your transaction coordinator. If you're a director of operations, you sure as heck, please tell me that you do know how to take over each role if somebody goes on vacation or gets sick, etc. If you don't, all good, just come in and we'll show you how to do it. So you get 18 one-hour calls, 3 a month, and you leave with 400 plus pages of a policy procedural for your hub. The investment's $199 a month, and you could sign up today by clicking the link that Graham graciously put in the chat box. And if you sign up today, we also are giving you $100 off your first month. So use the code in all caps, OPS100. So I trust that y'all learned a new way to turn the operations into a profit center, to get a return on investment there. It's pretty simple. Y'all are already doing the job. You're taking care of the clients at the highest level. If you want to learn how to do it at an even higher level and not just have a job, have a career, come and join Monica and I. We'd love to coach you through on how to do that. And so that your business is contributing to making it rain. So with that being said, if you guys want to open up the chat box, if anyone has any questions, you want to either unmute yourself or use the chat box. I'm here to answer any of them about our upcoming course. And it was a pleasure spending time with you this afternoon. Nope.
Any questions? Questions?
Well, so feel free to click that link, tell your rainmaker about it, and let us help you grow to where you ought to go. All right. Well, it was a pleasure spending time with you guys. Everyone stay safe and healthy out there. And we look forward to seeing you on the 4th of August. Natalie, it was good to see you again. Spent the last hour with you. So, okay, guys, you take care. We'll
Thanks,
talk with you
Nicole.
soon.
Thanks, everybody, for your patience, too, at the beginning. Appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.